In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life, where today we're flipping the script on conventional wisdom. It's a curious truth that those who dare to break the rules often find themselves at the forefront of attraction, commanding attention with an effortless allure, while the nice guys labor in the pursuit of affection, meticulously adhering to every rule in the book only to find themselves sidelined, ignored, or relegated to the dreaded friend zone. It's the bad boys, with their rule-breaking charisma, who seem to captivate with ease. But what if I told you that this isn't about becoming someone you're not, but rather embracing a more audacious version of yourself? It's a stark realization that sometimes, to be truly magnetic, one must venture beyond the bounds of conventional nicety. This isn't about insincerity or weakness. It's about strength, confidence, and the courage to stand out from the crowd. Today, we're diving deep into the playbook of the so-called bad boys to uncover the 9 rules they break that you should consider breaking too. This isn't just about getting noticed, it's about rewriting the narrative of attraction on your own terms. Join us as we explore these 9 transformative rules that promise to elevate your allure from unnoticed to unforgettable. Let's begin. They got themselves. Bad boy often emerges as a paradoxical source of inspiration. These individuals, characterized by their fierce independence and self-sufficiency, inadvertently embody a principle deeply rooted in Stoicism, the virtue of self-reliance. This concept, while seemingly straightforward, holds profound implications for how we navigate our relationships and personal growth. The bad boy persona, often glamorized for its rebellious nature, essentially highlights the importance of having a strong sense of self and not being overly dependent on others for one's happiness or well-being. This notion resonates with the Stoic belief that our inner peace and contentment should not be contingent upon external circumstances or the actions of others. Consider the dynamic often observed in relationships where one partner assumes a caretaker role, constantly nudging or even coercing the other into adopting certain behaviors or habits. This dynamic, though well-intentioned, can sometimes hinder personal autonomy and growth. The bad boy narrative challenges this pattern by emphasizing the value of self-sufficiency. These individuals navigate life on their own terms, addressing their needs and challenges without expecting rescue or intervention from others. This attitude, far from being a display of arrogance or indifference, is a testament to their resilience and capacity to self-govern. Drawing from the Stoic philosophy, we find parallels in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, who famously stated, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This echoes the bad boy's implicit creed of self-reliance, underscoring the idea that true contentment and strength are cultivated from within. It's a call to introspection and self-care, reminding us that while support from others is valuable, our ultimate well-being lies in our own hands. Now let's consider the allegory of the oak tree. An oak tree grows strong and sturdy not by being shielded from the elements, but by withstanding the storms and stresses of its environment. This natural resilience allows it to thrive independently, much like the bad boy who navigates life's challenges without relying on others to pave his way. This story serves as a metaphor for our own growth, encouraging us to embrace our struggles as opportunities to develop our fortitude and self-sufficiency. In conclusion, the lesson here is not to idolize the bad boy for his defiance or nonconformity, but to recognize the value of the underlying principle he represents: the importance of self-reliance and personal responsibility. As we journey through life, let us strive to cultivate our inner strength and autonomy, remembering that our capacity to face challenges independently not only enhances our personal growth, but also enriches our relationships with others. By embracing this Stoic virtue, we empower ourselves to lead lives of purpose, resilience, and tranquility, ultimately contributing to a more fulfilling and harmonious existence. Passion. In the realm of the so-called bad boys, there lies an undeniable allure that stems not just from their rebellious demeanor, but from the fervent passion that fuels their every action. This passion, A blazing fire within is not merely for show, it's the core of their being, driving them to live life on their own terms, to break the mold, and to challenge the status quo. It's this very essence that makes their stories not just interesting, but captivating, drawing others towards them. Not just for the aura of danger they might exude, but for the raw, unfiltered zeal for life they embody. Consider, for instance, the way a bad boy approaches his interests and pursuits. There's a lesson to be learned here for men aged 30 to 65, a demographic often caught in the crossfire between societal expectations and personal desires. The lesson is simple yet profound: to approach life and its myriad challenges with unbridled passion. This doesn't mean recklessness or disregard for consequences, but rather a wholehearted commitment to what sets your soul on fire, be it in your professional endeavors, personal projects, or relationships. The Stoic philosophers, with their profound understanding of human nature and the workings of the universe, emphasized living in accordance with one's nature and pursuing one's true passions with diligence and integrity. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This quote encapsulates the essence of living passionately, acting with conviction and authenticity rather than getting bogged down by societal norms or the expectations of others. Bad boys embody this Stoic principle, albeit in a more unconventional manner. They break the rules not for the sake of rebellion, but because they are guided by an internal compass that directs them towards what they genuinely believe in. They are not swayed by the fear of judgment or failure, which often holds many back from pursuing their true passions. Instead, they embrace these as part of the journey, a testament to their commitment to living authentically. This approach to life is not without its challenges, but it is precisely these challenges that make the journey worthwhile. The stories of bad boys are replete with trials and tribulations, yet it is their passion that sees them through, that transforms obstacles into stepping stones. This is the kind of passion that can inspire men in the 30 to 65 age group, many of whom may find themselves at a crossroads, questioning the path they're on or the choices they've made. Incorporating this passionate approach into modern life requires a shift in perspective. It calls for recognizing the value in what excites and motivates you, and more importantly, acting on it. It's about making deliberate choices that align with your deepest desires and interests, even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone or going against the grain. This could manifest in various ways, from pursuing a long-held dream or hobby, making a career change that feels more fulfilling, or simply adopting a more adventurous spirit in daily life. The advice here is not to discard all sense of responsibility or to act impulsively without regard for the consequences. Rather, it's to find a balance between the demands of life and the pursuit of passion. It's about making room for what truly matters, for what makes you feel alive, and integrating this into your daily existence. This might mean setting aside time for your interests, being more open to new experiences, or simply allowing yourself to be more present and engaged in whatever you do. In essence, the bad boy approach to passion is a call to live more fully, to embrace the intensity of life with open arms. It's a reminder that at the heart of every man's story, there's a burning desire to live authentically, to pursue what truly matters with fervor and dedication. For men, this message is particularly poignant, offering a beacon of inspiration to rekindle their passions and to approach life with a renewed sense of purpose and vitality. It's an invitation to break the rules not for the sake of rebellion, but as a means to live more authentically, passionately, and ultimately, more fully. The act of asking for permission. In the tapestry of modern societal norms, there's a heavy emphasis on seeking consent and permission in all interactions, especially those of a romantic nature. This advice, while rooted in respect and consideration, is often interpreted in a way that might seem overly cautious or timid to some. The bad boys of our narrative challenge this notion head-on, embodying a spirit of boldness and assertiveness that seems to draw admiration and intrigue. It's crucial to clarify that this isn't about disregarding the fundamental importance of consent or respect for others' boundaries. Far from it. Instead, it's about challenging the idea that one must always explicitly ask for permission in contexts where mutual understanding and nonverbal cues speak volumes. The most compelling figures in history, literature, and even in the stories we tell today are those who navigate life with a sense of purpose and determination, taking decisive action to pursue their desires, be it in love, career, or personal aspirations. This approach mirrors a Stoic principle beautifully articulated by Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Stoicism teaches us the value of directness and the power of understanding our environment to make informed decisions. Like the bad boys, Stoics advocate for reading the room, understanding the context, and acting in harmony with the situation, rather than being paralyzed by hesitation or fear of overstepping. The allure of such characters, often romanticized in tales and media, lies not in a reckless disregard for others, but in their embodiment of confidence and self-assurance. They represent a figure who knows what they want and pursues it with conviction, not through coercion or disrespect, but through a profound understanding of human nature and social dynamics. This energy, this unwavering sense of self, is what draws people to them. It's a reminder that attraction is not just about physical appearance or material success, but about the strength of character, the courage to act according to one's values, and the ability to navigate the complexities of human interaction with grace and confidence. In embracing this lesson, we're not advocating for a life without boundaries or respect for others, but for a life lived boldly and authentically. It's about understanding that asking for permission in every aspect of life can sometimes mean missing out on opportunities that require initiative and courage. It's about recognizing that while respect and consent are non-negotiable, there are moments when taking the lead, guided by empathy and understanding, can open doors to deeper connections and achievements. As we reflect on this rule and its implications, let's consider how we can apply this blend of boldness and sensitivity in our own lives. How can we break free from the constraints of excessive caution to seize the day with both hands, all while maintaining the core Stoic values of respect, integrity, and virtue? This balance, this dance between assertiveness and empathy, is where the true art of living lies. It's a path that invites us to challenge conventions, to read the room with wisdom, and to act with the confidence of someone who knows their worth and respects the worth of others. In the end, the lesson here transcends the label of bad boy and touches on a universal truth about human nature and the pursuit of a fulfilling life. It's a call to embrace our agency, to live with purpose, and to approach our interactions with a blend of confidence and compassion. As we continue to explore the rules that bad boys break, let's keep this Stoic wisdom in mind, allowing it to guide us through the complexities of life with a serene mind and a resilient spirit, hiding unusual traits. In the realm of self-discovery and personal authenticity, there lies a profound rule often overlooked, yet crucial for those on the path of self-improvement and genuine connection, especially for men navigating the complex dynamics of modern relationships. This rule centers around the embracing and showcasing of one's unique and unusual traits, a concept that many might shy away from, particularly in the presence of the opposite sex. The societal pressure to conform and the fear of alienation lead many to mask these authentic aspects of their personality, opting instead for a facade that they believe is more acceptable or appealing. However, this suppression of individuality is a disservice not only to oneself but also to the potential depth and authenticity of the relationships one might forge. The essence of being a real man, or indeed a genuine person, is not in the adherence to a monolithic standard of interests or behaviors, but in the courage to be oneself, regardless of external perceptions. Whether your passion lies in the arts like drawing or acting, or in more niche hobbies such as reading manga, these interests contribute to the rich tapestry of your identity. They are not mere quirks to be hidden away, but are facets of your character that, when shared openly, can lead to deeper connections based on genuine understanding and respect. The fear that embracing these traits might lead to judgment or rejection from females is a common concern. Yet it is through this very vulnerability that true strength and confidence are demonstrated. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "If you wish to be loved, love." This sentiment echoes the importance of self-love and authenticity as the foundation for attracting genuine affection and respect from others. It's crucial to distinguish, however, between embracing one's unique traits and indulging in behaviors that are unproductive or universally recognized as negative, such as excessive laziness or aimless scrolling on social media platforms like TikTok. The distinction lies in the value and growth these interests bring to one's life as opposed to activities that serve merely as distractions or escapisms. Unique traits and hobbies should be channels through which one explores their potential, learns new skills, and expresses their individuality, not excuses for stagnation or avoidance of personal development. In today's digital age, where the pressure to conform is amplified by social media and cultural stereotypes, standing firm in one's authenticity is both a challenge and an act of rebellion. It is a declaration that one's value is not determined by external validation but by self-acceptance and the pursuit of personal passions. This approach not only fosters a stronger sense of self but also attracts those who appreciate and love you for who you truly are, rather than a superficial persona. The journey towards embracing one's unusual traits is not about seeking permission or acceptance from others, but about recognizing and celebrating the uniqueness that each individual brings to the table. Moreover, in the context of modern life where authenticity is often overshadowed by the pursuit of idealized images and lifestyles, the advice to embrace and showcase one's unique traits serves as a beacon of hope and empowerment. It encourages men, and indeed all individuals, to break free from the confines of societal expectations and to live in a manner that is true to themselves. This path, while fraught with vulnerability and the risk of rejection, ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and authentic existence. In conclusion, the rule of not hiding one's unusual traits is a testament to the power of authenticity in a world that often values conformity. It is a call to action for men to live boldly and unapologetically, embracing their unique interests and passions as integral parts of their identity. By doing so, they not only enrich their own lives but also set a precedent for genuine connections based on mutual respect and understanding. In the pursuit of authenticity, one finds not only personal freedom but also the key to building meaningful relationships in the modern world. Zero tolerance. In the realm of personal development and navigating the complexities of relationships, the concept of zero tolerance for behaviors that conflict with one's values and the principles stands out as a beacon of self-respect and integrity. This principle, often exemplified by the so-called bad boys, is not about rebellion or disdain for cooperation, but rather a profound understanding of one's worth and the refusal to compromise on what matters most. Unlike the stereotypical nice guys who, in their desperation, may overlook red flags and unacceptable behavior in the hope of gaining affection, individuals who embody the bad boy spirit maintain a steadfast commitment to their moral compass and personal standards. Consider the story of Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, who despite his immense power and influence, emphasized the importance of virtue, discipline, and personal integrity above all else. Aurelius famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This statement encapsulates the essence of zero tolerance for behaviors and situations that undermine one's character and values. Aurelius in his meditations often reflected on the significance of acting in accordance with nature and reason, not allowing external circumstances or the actions of others to dictate his sense of self or compromise his principles. Embracing a zero-tolerance stance towards behaviors and situations that conflict with one's values is not about arrogance or inflexibility, but about honoring oneself and ensuring a life of authenticity and respect. This approach demands courage and self-awareness, as it involves recognizing and acting upon red flags and incompatible behaviors, regardless of temporary attractions or superficial connections. It's about understanding that true compatibility and mutual respect are foundational to any meaningful relationship, and that settling for less out of fear or desperation ultimately leads to dissatisfaction and regret. Incorporating this principle into one's life means making tough decisions, but it also opens the door to relationships and experiences that are aligned with one's deepest values and aspirations. It's about being true to oneself and recognizing that some opportunities, no matter how enticing they may seem, are not worth the sacrifice of one's integrity and well-being. In conclusion, the lesson of zero tolerance for compromising one's values teaches us the importance of self-respect, integrity, and the pursuit of genuine connections. It encourages us to be discerning in our relationships, to stand firm in our principles, and to live authentically. As we navigate the ebbs and flows of life, let us remember that our worth is not determined by the approval of others, but by our commitment to living a life that is true to ourselves. This is the path to true fulfillment and happiness. Putting women on a pedestal. In our exploration of the unconventional wisdom that often defines the allure of the so-called bad boys, we delve into a particularly intriguing rule they tend to break, one that many of us might find counterintuitive at first glance. This rule revolves around the concept of elevating women to a pedestal, treating them as if they were queens reigning supreme in the kingdom of our affection. This notion, deeply ingrained in our collective psyche by the fairy tales of our childhood and the romantic narratives championed by Disney, suggests that such reverence is the ultimate expression of admiration. Yet in a world where attention and adoration are lavished upon women from countless sources, this approach loses its uniqueness, becoming just another echo in the cacophony of adulation. The moment you shift your perspective, treating a woman not as an idol, but as an equal human being, you distinguish yourself from the multitude. This doesn't mean diminishing respect or affection, but recognizing the person for who they are, beyond the pedestal. The bad boys take this a step further by inverting the dynamic entirely, placing themselves on the pedestal they might have reserved for someone else. This might come off as self-absorbed, and truthfully, it treads that line closely. However, this act of self-valorization isn't about diminishing the value of others, but about recognizing one's own worth. It's a powerful statement of self-confidence, which, paradoxically, can be profoundly attractive. This approach echoes the Stoic philosophy, where the emphasis is placed on understanding what is within our control and what is not. As Epictetus famously said, "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." In this context, the Stoics would argue that placing someone on a pedestal is a way of giving them control over our emotions and self-worth, something that is fundamentally outside our control. Instead, by focusing on our own values, actions, and self-respect, we align more closely with Stoic principles, fostering a sense of inner confidence and tranquility. Incorporating this Stoic perspective, we can see that the allure of the bad boy isn't in the rebellion itself, but in the underlying confidence and self-assurance that such actions signify. It's a reminder that in the pursuit of connection and affection, the most compelling attribute we can offer is not the adulation of the other, but the strength of our own character. By valuing ourselves, we not only attract others, but also cultivate a more profound and resilient sense of self-worth. This narrative isn't about advocating for a careless disregard for the feelings of others, but about encouraging a healthy self-respect that allows us to engage with others as equals. It's about breaking the cycle of seeking validation through the approval of others and instead finding it within ourselves. In doing so, we not only set ourselves apart, but also build relationships based on mutual respect and genuine connection. As we navigate the complexities of human relationships, let us remember that the most enduring attraction comes not from placing others on pedestals, but from the quiet confidence that comes from knowing our worth. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By cultivating a mindset that values self-respect and genuine connection, we not only enrich our own lives, but also bring a more authentic and meaningful presence to those around us. Playing it safe. In the grand tapestry of life, where the threads of fate intertwine with the choices we make, there lies a profound truth that echoes through the ages, a truth that the Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece pondered deeply. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing, Socrates once declared, a sentiment that invites us to embrace the uncertainty of life with open arms. This wisdom is particularly relevant when we consider the concept of playing it safe, a notion that has ensnared the spirits of many men, from the bustling streets of modern cities to the serene landscapes of the countryside. The vast majority, a staggering 95%, of men are ensnared in the clutches of caution, their wings clipped by the societal norms and expectations that have been instilled in them since childhood. This pervasive culture of safety and risk aversion has led countless individuals into the monotonous cycle of the rat race, trapping them in careers that drain their souls, yet they remain, for the fear of risk is a formidable jailer. The tragedy of this mindset is not only in the squandered potential and the dreams left to wither in the shadows of conformity, but also in the dullness it breeds, a characteristic that dims the light of attraction and renders one invisible in the dance of life. I contrast this with the archetype of the bad boy Crayer, a figure who dances on the edge of risk with a fearless heart. These are the men who view life as a vast ocean, to be navigated with boldness, not a tempest to be weathered from the safety of the harbor. They understand that to never risk is to lose oneself entirely, a fate far worse than any failure. For them, action precedes deliberation, a philosophy that might seem reckless to the cautious observer, yet there is an undeniable allure in their audacity. Their lives are lived in vivid colors, each decision painting another stroke on the canvas of their existence, a testament to their belief in their resilience and their ability to rise from the ashes of their misadventures. This approach to life, while seemingly reckless, is underpinned by a deep-seated confidence and a profound understanding of the nature of existence. It is a manifestation of the Stoic principle that we control only our actions and attitudes, not the outcomes. By embracing risk, these men are not courting danger but rather affirming their faith in their ability to adapt and overcome, a quality that is inherently attractive and inspiring. Escape a boring reality. In the realm of Stoicism, the concept of breaking away from a monotonous reality is not only about seeking thrill or adventure, but about embracing the full spectrum of human experience. This idea resonates deeply with the allure of the so-called bad boys, individuals who defy the norms and live life on their own terms, often providing a stark contrast to the predictable patterns of everyday life. These figures, with their penchant for risk and disdain for the conventional, captivate not just because they offer an escape, but because they embody the Stoic principle of challenging oneself and one's perceptions of the world. The story of the bad boy is not just about rebellion or defiance for its own sake. It's about the quest for authenticity and the courage to confront the unknown. This narrative echoes the Stoic practice of exposing oneself to different situations to foster resilience and adaptability. Just as a bad boy ventures into uncharted territories, Stoics advocate for stepping out of one's comfort zone to gain wisdom and strength. This approach to life encourages an active engagement with the world, pushing the boundaries of what is known and comfortable to discover deeper truths about ourselves and our environment. Moreover, the bad boy archetype serves as a metaphor for the Stoic ideal of living according to one's own virtues, rather than being swayed by societal expectations or external pressures. It's about making choices that align with one's inner moral compass, even if those choices are unconventional or frowned upon by others. This path, while fraught with challenges, is also ripe with opportunities for growth and self-discovery. It invites us to question the status quo, to explore the vastness of human potential beyond the confines of routine and conformity. Incorporating a story that exemplifies this Stoic principle, consider the tale of Alexander the Great and Diogenes the Cynic. When Alexander, one of the most powerful men of his time, asked Diogenes what he could do for him, Diogenes, who was sunbathing, simply replied, "Stand out of my sunlight." This encounter highlights the Stoic virtue of self-sufficiency and the understanding that true contentment comes from within, not from external accolades or possessions. Diogenes, much like the bad boy, lived by his own rules, demonstrating that true freedom and happiness are found in living authentically and valuing one's inner world above external success. To embody the lessons from the bad boy narrative in Stoic philosophy, one must cultivate the courage to live authentically, embrace the unknown, and challenge societal norms. It's about finding balance between seeking adventure and practicing self-reflection, between breaking rules and adhering to one's own ethical code. This journey requires us to be fearless in the face of uncertainty, to welcome discomfort as a teacher, and to always strive for personal growth and understanding. In conclusion, the bad boy archetype, when viewed through the lens of Stoicism, offers valuable lessons on living a fulfilling life. It teaches us to break free from the mundane, to challenge ourselves, and to pursue authenticity over conformity. By embracing these principles, we can navigate the complexities of life with resilience, wisdom, and a deep sense of inner freedom. Let us then, inspired by the bad boys and guided by Stoic wisdom, dare to live boldly, to question and to grow, transforming our lives into a thrilling adventure of self-discovery and empowerment. Hard to get. In the realm of attraction and human connection, there's a paradox that often goes unnoticed but is deeply felt. It's the allure of the unattainable, the magnetic pull towards someone who seems just out of reach. This brings us to a fascinating rule often broken by those labeled as bad boys: the art of being hard to get. Now, before we dive deeper, let's clarify that this isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about understanding a fundamental aspect of human psychology and how it intertwines with the principles of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches the value of self-control, independence, and resilience. Many of us have observed or experienced the scenario where someone's interest is piqued, not by those who are readily available, but by those who maintain a certain distance, those who do not seem to need the validation or approval of others to define their worth. This is where our bad boys come into play. They inherently understand this dynamic, not because they aim to be elusive, but because they embody a level of self-sufficiency and confidence that naturally makes them less available. They are not easily swayed by the opinions of others, nor do they seek out validation through constant availability. This, in essence, is what makes them so intriguing. Let's consider a quote from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who said, "Demand not that events should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and your life will be serene." This sentiment captures the essence of what it means to be hard to get. It's not about indifference to others, but about a profound alignment with oneself and the natural flow of life. It's about being so grounded in one's own being and pursuits that the need for external validation diminishes. This doesn't mean one becomes aloof or detached from human connection, but rather that one's sense of self-worth and contentment isn't hinged on how relentlessly one is pursued or desired. The bad boy archetype, often misunderstood, is not about a lack of care or respect for others, but about a deep-seated confidence and an understanding of one's value that doesn't require constant external affirmation. They live by a code that prioritizes self-respect and an understanding that their worth isn't determined by how accessible they are. This principle can be incredibly liberating when applied thoughtfully in our lives. It encourages us to find balance, to understand that while human connection is invaluable, our self-worth should not be solely dependent on it. Imagine living with the kind of serene confidence that allows you to move through the world, not seeking approval, but being fully present in each moment, engaging with others authentically and without the desperate need for their validation. This is the lesson we can learn from the hard-to-get rule. It's about cultivating a sense of self that is complete on its own, a sense of self that attracts not because it seeks to, but because it is inherently fulfilled and grounded. Incorporating the Stoic wisdom into our lives, we begin to see the value in focusing on our own journey, in being true to ourselves, and in maintaining a sense of independence that is attractive because it is genuine. It's about being so engaged in our own growth and pursuits that we naturally become less available, not as a strategy but as a byproduct of living a fulfilling life. This approach to life and relationships invites a deeper, more genuine connection with others, one that is based on mutual respect and admiration rather than a neediness or a lack of self-sufficiency. In conclusion, the allure of being hard to get, as demonstrated by the bad boys, is not about elusiveness for its own sake, but about embodying a level of self-assurance and independence that naturally makes one more attractive. It teaches us the importance of valuing ourselves, of being comfortable with who we are, and of not basing our self-worth on the attention or approval of others. By embracing these principles, we can cultivate a life of serenity and strength, reminiscent of the Stoic ideal, where our happiness and sense of fulfillment come not from external validation but from within, from our own Stoic flow through the ebbs and flows of life. As we wrap up today's exploration into the 9 rules bad boys break that you might consider adopting in your own life, it's crucial to remember that the essence of these lessons isn't about disregarding respect or integrity. Instead, it's about embracing confidence, self-assurance, and the courage to live authentically. These principles, when applied wisely, can lead to a life of fulfillment and genuine connections. If today's journey has sparked a flame of curiosity or inspired you to challenge the conventional, I invite you to join our growing community. Engage with us by liking this video, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing to Stoic in Your Life for more content that bridges ancient wisdom with the modern hustle. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, ensuring you never miss out on our upcoming adventures into the profound world of Stoicism and beyond. Together, let's continue to explore, grow, and embody the principles that make life not just bearable but profoundly meaningful. Thank you for being here, and until next time, remember to live stoically, embracing the flow of life with resilience and serenity.